Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Ron Hoon, back from a little vacay time, ready to roll. Boy, have we got a great Fox 10 Talks for you today. We got all the big topics coming your way. Hang with us. It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. This picture right here tells you everything you need to know about the warning from the folks at DPS. Now, keep this in mind. We are in the midst of our winter here in the Valley, which we probably have the most beautiful weather. Hey, look, it's snowing in parts of Florida today, so don't tell me about Florida having the most gorgeous weather. They're dealing with the cold snap that is literally freezing out tens of millions on the East Coast. Here in Arizona, yes, the weather is about as perfect as it can get. But here's the problem, and here's why DPS has issued this warning. When you leave the valley and you get up to the higher elevations, maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, that kind of a thing, there's something you need to be on the lookout for. And if you're not that familiar with it, look, if you moved here from Michigan or Ohio or, somewhere on the East Coast, you're totally, or even up in the Northwest, you are totally familiar with black ice. But they had a situation at Top of the World in, it was about a week or so ago, where a couple of cars slid right off the highway. They didn't even realize they were in a situation, but it basically looks like the pavement. But all it takes is a half an inch, a quarter of an inch of black ice on the highway. And these folks, 2 in a row, ended up down in a ravine at Top of the World. You're like, Hooner, where is Top of the World? Well, good morning, everybody. And let me just tell you, that is as you leave the valley. You leave Apache Junction, Florence Junction, you go into Superior. I really like that drive. Superior's set up against these gorgeous cliffs. But then as you leave Superior, before you know it, you kind of come up into I think it's just a pretty little valley up there. But it's high enough in elevation at Top of the World that the temps there can be as much as 15 degrees colder than just here in the valley. And so that's where it happened before you even get up into the Globe, Miami area. So just be cautious whether you're headed there, maybe you're headed up into the White Mountains, maybe you're headed up into Flagstaff, some of those areas up into the Rim Country. Just be extra cautious. DPS felt the need to go ahead and put the warning out today, and so good for them. So also coming up today, we talked about it, it's snowing in Florida. The war of words over Greenland is heating up, and we've made arrangements to talk live with an international expert from inside Denmark to get the real story. What do people think about this? I mean, are they really passionate about keeping Greenland? It's been a kind of a part of Denmark for a very long time, so we're going to find out about that. And then a once beloved pizza chain has decided it's time to really get back into the valley full force in about an hour. They're going to be opening up their new location. But the other big headline today is that it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
We do so at a time when the world is trembling under the weight of its own contradictions, a time when inhumanity, injustice, and inequity have risen to devastating heights, a time when our nation is fractured by polarization, poisoned by fear, and paralyzed by division. We gather in a moment charged with both peril and promise, a moment when the soul of our nation is crying out, not with a whisper, but with a groan of urgency for healing, for direction, for a way forward that binds our wounds rather than deepens them. We are living in a moral crisis, not symbolic, but so deep. Our humanity is at stake. There is a battle going on between good and evil, and the future of this nation and the world house hangs in the balance. We must decide whether we will continue down the path of fragmentation or rise together into new possibilities of community.
So what you were hearing there is part of the event that was going on in Atlanta at the King Center. And so we rolled on that just a little earlier this morning. There are all kinds of celebrations and events remembering the life of Martin Luther King Jr. There's a peace walk and parade that is going to be happening in various locations. In fact, some of them have already happened in the Washington, D.C. area there in Atlanta, but also right here in the Valley of the Sun. And we're going to be talking about that. In fact, I think a little bit later this morning, we're going to have live pictures coming up for you, both Phoenix and Mesa, with two of the more sizable celebrations all across the USA. So plenty of coverage coming up on that as the morning goes on. But first, ladies and gentlemen, let's just welcome to the microphone Now, let me make sure I've got the correct buttons to punch here. Let's see. Celeste, can you hear me okay?
I got you, buddy.
Oh, good. You're still on mic 3. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, really? Oh, look at that, Celeste. Remember when last week you were asking for extreme close-ups?
I don't recall ever asking for that extreme.
You're lying.
In fact, how wide can we go?
Yeah, that was. Let's go back and see if it's. Do you like that? I mean, Steph's on the camera right now, Celeste. Call your shots.
She always does a fabulous job.
Yeah, if you've ever said to yourself, I wish I could just a little bit more, bring it back in just a little bit more.
Oh, great. Thank you, Ron.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. There we go.
And by the way, I do not wake up like this.
Okay, well, anyway, I missed you like crazy.
Oh, I miss you, Ron. It's so great to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, okay.
How was it? Your trip was amazing.
I'm going to show a few pictures.
I can't wait.
From it a little bit later on.
Looking forward to it.
But, Celeste, we got to talk about the deep freeze that this country is going through right now. It's the weirdest thing.
It is.
You know, they're complaining up in Utah. They have finally gotten some snow up at the ski hills, but like Salt Lake doesn't really have any snow. And then this system that is swooping down is really impressive. Here's what our friends at Fox Weather,
Robert Ray,
were telling you a little while ago this morning. Check this out, you guys.
I know. Look at me. It's a little shocking to see someone in this kind of gear on Lake Michigan as the wind blows so intensely. You see the snow moving at my feet and the lake literally freezing live on television and the beautiful skyline of Chicago behind me. But don't let the sun fool you guys, because the temperature right now, well, yeah, it's 0 degrees. Get that 0. With the wind, we're looking at negative 25 to 30 miles an hour or wind chill. And by the way, speaking of the NFL, Soldier Field, where the Bears lost to the LA Rams last night, in my eyesight, what a loss. Thousands of people out there enduring the cold, and it's just significantly gotten more frigid since last night. And that's the deal. That's what the Midwest is going through right now. And you can imagine the past week has just been rough here in Chicago. The airports, O'Hare International, Midway, snarled by cancellations and delays because of snow squalls and the cold. Southwest Michigan getting hit by those incredible lake effect winds last week. And it's not just Chicago. You know, it's the entire upper Midwest, from Minneapolis to Omaha to Des Moines to Green Bay to here in Chicago to the east in Cleveland, Columbus, Ohio. But 90 miles south of the ATL, guys, in Macon, snow. And then in Florida, snow. So you got to ask yourself, what is going on with the extreme temperatures and these winters? 2 years in a row, the South gets all that snow, and now here this morning, just dangerous. I have to say this too. If you're not layered like I am right now, within 15 to 20 minutes, you're going to get extreme frostbite, end up in the emergency room in these kind of temperatures. Good news is that Wednesday and Thursday temperatures are going to rise a little bit in Chicago, but then get this, lows will be like negative 10 this coming weekend, and with the winds, you could be looking at negative 40 with the wind chill. Remarkable. If we thought winter was taking a break in the past 5 or so years, which it was, well, it's back, so all we could do is hope and pray for April and May, although for you all, that's not the case, right? I wish I was in the desert.
Yeah, we've probably got a lot of visitors from Chicago here right now, actually, with Barrett Jackson and the WM Phoenix Open happening soon. But I think there in Chicago, it'd be a good gig to be a driver of a snowplow these days. But they're hardy folk out there right in the Midwest, Robert. Have you seen people still venturing out?
Yeah, actually, yes. Before the sun even came up, I saw several joggers heading past us and just thought to myself, wow, I mean, you really, you got to be training for something or, I don't know, fighting some sort of mental illness.
Yeah, that sounds about right? Or you're just in it for the pain.
Oh, brother.
Celeste, it's interesting because when I was coming back from vacation, I flew through Detroit. I am a huge fan of the airport in Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you love about it?
Well, for one thing, they have a Buddy's Pizza right in the airport.
So it's like Detroit style, the kind that you like, the crispy edges, thick.
And then the other thing here, I'm going to show you, they do it right, and everybody, I think, in the airport business could learn. This is, I tried to get a better focus, but they had snowplow after snow. They must have had a dozen snowplow trucks just sitting there ready for the next little bit of snow to come your way. And then as this next piece of video you're going to see right here, we're kind of coming across the runway, getting ready to make the move. And I just thought, I have seen other airports that cannot handle it. There's the runway. Look, they did a great job. They got it all snowplowed. Have you ever tried to fly into Seattle, for example, on a day where it happened to snow a half an inch? Oh, it's the end of the world.
Well, and you would think they would have it all together. I mean, it's a cold weather, snowy city.
Correct. All right. So, yeah, sure, they're used to the rain. But anyway, Seattle, you can take a lesson from Detroit and act like you've been there before. I was so impressed. But the other thing about this crazy weather that is going on, so that's no shocker at the DTW airport to see snow. The shocker is this. Ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't just a flake or two. This was Florida this weekend.
That is beautiful. Look at those. Oh, on the palm tree.
Yeah,
so amazing.
Right. I mean, if you thought the iguanas were freaking out and falling out of the trees a month ago.
Yeah.
I mean, there can't be one iguana that's awake right now. They've all frozen.
Well, and what are the alligators thinking, Ron? They're like, what is happening?
Right. They're like, I got to swim further south. I'm going to Cuba or Nicaragua or something.
Bye.
But, in some areas it was actually sticking. There's another great shot from Florida. I have a feeling this is going to be one of our big stories this morning because, I mean, it is sub-zero temperatures in the northern part of our country, and they're in an ice box.
Well, I think earlier this morning we were looking at an image of what was it, Paradise, Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now that's serious business right there. Now, how about this? We did find a place where there is no snow. We're going to ask you what you think. Where is today's mystery camp? We're rolling ahead on Fox 10 Talks. All right, there's your mystery cam. Celeste, what were you just saying?
I was saying that someone in our chat, you were talking about how you fly into Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said that they have a great PB&J shop at the Detroit airport.
Really?
So then
Concourse C.
Yeah. Okay. So then I looked up PB&J.
Yeah.
PB&J Detroit.
Okay.
Let's see what's happening
This
here.
is Steph Lacey, by the way. Hello, Steph. Thank you for joining us today and joining the convo.
Yeah, so I guess they have a great peanut butter and jelly place out there. I was trying to find
That's
it online as well.
fantastic.
New arrivals at PB&J Boutique.
Okay.
Cute clothing, Ron, and tunics.
Really?
The next time you're looking for a tunic.
Good. Well, I'm always looking for cute clothing.
Do you need a blouse?
Well, this is the problem. We went over to Europe, and it was cold, and Renee bought a lot of new gear. And I'm like, what's wrong with the old gear?
Snow gear.
Oh, yeah, new boots, a new coat.
Wow.
Like, where's my old husky sweatshirt? That's all I was going to wear.
I've got to see her new coat, Ron. What did it look like? Renee, I'm sure you looked fabulous.
Actually, we do have a picture from a little bit later.
Okay.
Anyway, what are we seeing for guesses, Celeste? This is the big part of the show here.
So we've got Georgia,
Okay.
Linda Monters,
Way to go, Linda.
which could be, I know we had some snow in the southern part of Georgia, but there's plenty of areas that still had sunshine.
Sure.
We've got, Dublin, Georgia, lots of Georgias here on the board.
Interesting.
Yeah, and let's see.
It's a hot trend today in the mystery cam business.
It is a hot trend. We've got mostly Georgias, New England from Louis Gonzalez.
Okay.
And Little Philosophy, good morning.
Okay.
It's snowy over in New York, Dylan says. Dylan, are you new to the chat?
I think we do have some new folks.
Yeah.
And Dylan is also talking about riding that train, the transit in New Jersey.
Oh.
Welcome to the friendliest chat online.
Yeah. Let us know where you're watching from.
Correct.
And if you're new to the chat and how you found us, we welcome.
Are you going to go with Georgia?
I'm going to go with Georgia.
All right.
Ron?
I'm going to try to buck the trend and go with Louis, who says New England.
Okay.
Now, I feel like that's a good guess because there's 6 states in New England. So I hope I win. Anyway, what do you think the answer is?
I thought you were going to say Bisbee.
I love Bisbee.
Okay, here we go. Mystery camera. And I feel
they don't
like
make it easy anymore,
No,
Celeste.
they don't. I need one of those little Dublin, Georgia.
It is Georgia.
Yes.
Nice.
Nice work, everyone.
I
well
feel like
done.
when they were settling Georgia, they were running out of ideas, and that's why they have the names of so many other. You have an Athens, Georgia.
You do.
Just like Athens, Greece.
You have a Macon.
Sure. Like nowhere else.
Like bacon.
But you got a Rome, Georgia. You got a Dublin, Georgia. It's like, well, we still need some town names. Anybody got one?
Who founded Georgia?
Georgia. Well, I believe it was named for the
James Oglethorpe
Queen.
in 1732.
Oh, yeah. Oglethorpe. He's the one that founded Savannah.
Yeah, so he envisioned the colony as a refuge for the poor and debtors.
Correct.
Was established as a defensive buffer zone for South Carolina against Spanish and French threats.
Oh, okay, because they would have been in Florida at the time.
Yeah.
So there's today's little history lesson from Celeste. Very, very good, Celeste. All right, so anyway, thanks for being a part of Fox 10 Talks today. So there's a lot of talk today about a letter that was, by the way, take a look at some of the protests this weekend that we were seeing in Nuuk in Greenland. Greenland is not for sale, one of the signs said. And then another sign said, we don't like Trump. See that sign right there?
Yes.
Greenland is already great. So anyway, he sent a letter, the president did, to Norway's prime minister, and linked his renewed push to acquire Greenland, possibly over some of the disappointment over not getting the Nobel Peace Prize. And he basically said in this letter that I don't feel as though I have to, peace is always still going to be paramount, but I'm going to make decisions from here on out on whatever's best for the United States and not worry about the rest of it and whether or not I'm going to ever actually win that award. He also questioned Denmark's right of ownership, saying it was based, quote, on a boat landed there hundreds of years ago, and said that he had done more for NATO than any other person, and it was time for the alliance to do something for the United States. Now, that's all, I think, a great lead-in to our interview here with Mikkel Olesen. Let me call up the Zoom button right here. Hello, Mikkel.
Hello.
Okay, are you in Copenhagen today?
I am in Copenhagen, yes.
Okay, great.
Wow.
I was there a couple of years ago. I went to the National Museum.
Okay.
I think I could have spent the whole day there. Truly, it's incredible. I mean, the capital city of Copenhagen is a great place to go.
Yes, yes.
I'm sure Mikkel has hung out at that museum many times, right, buddy?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the reasons we wanted to have you on today was to find out how is it, we see the protest in Greenland. I've even seen some images of protests there in Denmark. Mm-hmm. How is it playing for the average person in Denmark? Is there some real outrage, or are people saying, maybe there's not outrage? Kind of, what's your take when you talk to people about it? I mean, the average Joe on the street.
Sure. That's a great question. No, I think actually there is this sense of surprise that the U.S. would want to do this, because if you take a look at the security argument, this has been the main argument throughout this process, right? It just doesn't really resonate, because from a Danish or Greenlandic perspective, we'd say, well, the U.S. has full access to Greenland. The U.S. can come in and do basically whatever it deems necessary for its security. That's one feeling. And then the other feeling is Denmark has a long history of very close relations with the U.S. So I think it's this feeling of disbelief that the U.S. would do this to a close ally that I think people are asking themselves, is this who the U.S. is now? A country going around and attacking small democratic allies, or at least threatening to? And I hope not, would be my answer. I hope that's not what the U.S. is now.
One of the arguments, Mikkel, is that, you mentioned the security aspect, right? If Trump does not, President Trump does not move in and occupy some part of either Denmark or Greenland, that the possibility would be for Russia or China to come in. Have you heard that from any of the powers that be there in Denmark, or anyone there in terms of the citizenship speaking about that issue?
No, of course we've heard it. We've heard it from the U.S., right? But I mean, we have been allies with the U.S. for a long time. And of course, the entire point of the NATO alliance is to make sure that Russia is not going anywhere that's NATO territory. And that very much applies to Greenland as well, right? So here I think Denmark, Greenland, the U.S. should be firmly united in making sure that we don't want Russia in Greenland. I can say that very clearly. No one in Denmark wants Russia in Greenland.
How real is that threat? Now, the reason I ask is, within a few months of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, I think a lot of people were actually, at least one time, kind of nervous about maybe what Putin's ultimate aims would be. Has that settled down, or would you put the meter, the 1 to 10 meter, on? Look, we are actually worried about Russia at like a 2 or a 5 or what?
No, there's a lot of worry in Europe and in Denmark about Russia. I think in terms of an invasion, I don't think we see Greenland as being particularly likely. I mean, NATO, including the US, has vast naval supremacy over Russia. So as long as we stick together in NATO, I feel quite confident that it should be possible to deter Russia in that regard. But of course, we are worried about Russia in Europe. We're worried about Ukraine. Russia is listed in Denmark as the main security threat to Denmark.
Before all of this happened, what would you say was the overall attitude toward Greenland? I've tried to do some research on it. It seems like for the most part, I'm not going to say it's a total one-way relationship, but Denmark does an awful lot for Greenland, just in terms of infrastructure. There's a major university there. There are medical facilities, et cetera. It seems like a lot of that probably comes on the taxpayer's dole or the taxpayer's dime.
Yeah,
from you folks in Denmark.
Well, for sure. I mean, the Kingdom of Denmark as a whole, of course, the entire kingdom have an obligation to make sure that citizens across the Kingdom of Denmark can lead a good life. So, of course, Greenland is a big place. There are a lot of more people in Denmark than there are in Greenland. So, of course, Denmark helps Greenland out, yes.
Mikkel, you mentioned Greenland, and we just have one quick minute. So in about 30 seconds, if you can name off some of the resources that Greenland has. I know they have a lot to offer the world, and of course, Denmark as well. But one of the arguments is that maybe that is where and why President Trump is looking at Greenland, because of the resources.
Mm-hmm. But I think what's important to keep in mind here, and we're talking, of course, about rare earth metals, would be a big one, right? But the important thing to keep in mind here is that the Greenlanders have long invited U.S. companies to come in. The Greenlanders would be happy to have U.S. companies come in. It's difficult because it's still a harsh environment. It's not always possible to make a business case for it, but where it's possible, there has been a great push for the Greenlanders to have American companies come in. They just haven't been that eager yet because it takes a lot of money to make money in order to extract resources in Greenland because of the harsh environment, great distances, and all that.
Well, that's Mikkel Olesen joining us today, foreign policy expert, live from Copenhagen. Celeste, it's already the dinner hour. I appreciate it's 6:30 over there. The day is done. It's probably
oh my goodness,
probably dark outside already.
So, Mikkel, you look this good, and you've already worked a whole day. Well done, buddy. Well done.
Thank you, Mikkel.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Hope to speak with you again soon.
Let's roll into our poll question now. You can grab the QR code. This is really our first chance to talk about it. What's your take? 35% say, I agree with President Trump. We need it for our security. 13% say, maybe, but only if it's done through negotiations, no military action. And 52% are saying, leave it alone, belongs to Denmark and always should. Celeste, what are you seeing? Oops,
so
hold
on YouTube.
Big D, where am I? Hello. Where am I going for that YouTube poll? Do you remember?
It should be the YouTube poll question.
Okay. Ron, just come back to us and I'll read it. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Dave. You go ahead. 3,000 votes on this in just the first hour. So, Dave, this is huge.
Guess what, Dave? Whatever you were about to say.
Big D.
Hold it for the break, friend. We're up against the break. All right, you'll hear we'll get you the poll question numbers.
Yes, we will.
And you'll hear from the man himself right after this break. All right, everybody, welcome back. We located it. There's a lot of buttons that we have to go through.
Yeah, and a lot of cable in this building, Ron.
Oh, man, yes.
You know.
So what did you see, Celeste? This is quite amazing. 3,000 votes in 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's near record setting.
This is wild. So I just refreshed it. We're at 3.1 thousand votes now.
Okie doke.
3.3, actually. I just refreshed it one more time. This one is on fire. What's your take on Greenland ever becoming part of the U.S.? Let's get you the numbers right now. 20% say, I agree with Trump. 15% say, maybe. And 66% say, leave it alone. It belongs to Denmark and always should. Somebody also in our chat mentioned that when Denmark took over Greenland, they just went in there and just said, this is mine. So it was like maybe Greenlanders, the old-fashioned Greenlanders, like maybe the OGs, they're like, actually, this is ours.
See, I mean, that is definitely a part of the movement there.
Yeah.
I think, they're like, well, we don't want the U.S., but actually, even if we could break off from Denmark and be our own country. But, doing some research on it, it's really interesting. So there was a missionary back in the, I think, 1700s who was sent to Greenland to literally, Celeste, to see if there were still any Vikings in the area.
Oh my gosh.
Like great grandkids kind of a thing from some of the original settlers that had come across centuries before, and then also try to convert the native population that was already there. It's really, if you start to dig into it, it's a totally fascinating history of that country.
We could have a regeneration of the Vikings.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure you could. And we're not just talking about the Minnesota Vikings. That's for sure. All right. So anyway, thanks for all that. Here's Dave with some of the comments that he's been seeing. What's going on, friend?
Yeah, like you said, more than 3,000 votes, ton of comments here. A-Train 401 says Greenland deserves to decide its own fate. We already have a military base there, so why should we risk harming our reputation and our allies on some pursuit of false strength while also giving China a silent victory? Another YouTube user says we either need to control Greenland's defense systems or take ownership. Some people don't understand that with growing tensions between the U.S. and China-Russia, it could become huge problems for North America if it's not secured. And finally, Gareth Shoot 7943 says we have so many problems here in America, yet we're worried about Greenland. Help every country on the planet while American people struggle and lose everything. It doesn't make sense. A lot of really interesting takes. Keep the comments up, everybody.
Okay, so let's talk just a little bit, Celeste, about this disturbing story out of big, beautiful Mesa, where I live, 500,000 people. I'm so bummed that there was some sort of a fight at a youth soccer game over the weekend. By the way, it happened out there at the Arizona Athletic Grounds, which is what the Bell Bank Park is now called. And we have some video from that area. If you're not familiar with it, it's right off Ellsworth and Williams Field and the 202 freeway. But apparently there was an off-duty officer there, heard about a fight that was going on that involved about 100 people, and they needed help breaking it up. It took more than a half hour to get everything settled down.
It was crazy.
This is youth football.
So or
soccer.
No, it is football, actually. I guess, football can be soccer in some parts of the world, too.
Football.
But, for a lot of your sons who play football, there was a sevens tournament out there, which is two-hand touch. They break up the fields, and very small fields. There's no, helmets or gear or anything. You just two-hand touch, man, we gotcha, moving on. And apparently it was at the end of a game, and they were shaking hands on the field, and there was some trash talking going on, and a fight started on the field.
About what age?
I want to say high school.
Oh,
high school players.
Oh, okay.
Middle school, high school, maybe 8th, 9th grade, something like that.
Okay.
But it was a team from California, is what some kids were saying, and a team from Arizona. But here's the thing and for those of you who have children who play at, sevens or football, the parents, the spectators all got involved. And the way it operates on these football games, it can get unruly very quick. Yeah. There are police officers there all the time at these tournaments.
Okay.
You know, because they've broken up. We've been there on the sidelines when fights have had to be broken up.
Gee whiz.
You know, it gets very heated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so there was no arrests. No one was hurt, is what we're hearing.
Right.
You know, maybe somebody was and they just didn't report it to police. We don't know, but it's such a shame. So let's try to change the culture around the sevens and just sports in general.
So on Saturday, I had my first meeting. I'm going to be coaching my grandson Riley's little youth football team, 7 and 8 year olds, and the parents came out too. And I said, one of the main things that your athletes are going to learn over the next 2 or 3 months is sportsmanship.
Yeah.
To me, that's about as important a thing as you can learn, not just the X's and O's, but appreciate teamwork, you know, how that works, and then sportsmanship. You have to always show it.
So how did you say, if you're unhappy with playing time, this is how I want you to approach me?
You know, maybe I took the wrong approach on it, but you being an experienced parent, I handed out your phone number to all of those other experienced parents.
Just get ready then, because I'm going to ral them up. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, one other quick story that we wanted to run for you here just has to do a little bit with this this story of an intruder who definitely picked the wrong house to break into. I am still amazed that people think they can break into somebody else's house. In a state like this, where we have fairly wide open gun laws, I think would be safe to say, somebody wants to break into a house, you have to be prepared for what the homeowner might be packing.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a story that comes in from out in the West Valley from overnight. If you're just catching the news, it happened about 9 o'clock last night out there at about in Buckeye at Watson and Yuma Road. They say that investigators say that a woman and her 2 adult children were home when somebody started banging on the door. The mom answered, and the intruder starts forcing his way in. The man of the house, so there's 4 total. Sounds like a mom, a dad, and 2 kids. The man of the house just happened to have a handgun handy, and when the intruder made it past their security door and violated the privacy of that home, the man, not knowing what was in store, opened fire. So it doesn't appear the family had any idea who the intruder was. He's not been ID'd yet, but yeah. That was a big mistake on his part. That is for sure.
Well, I think, and you mentioned it at the top, Ron. What gives these people what's their mental makeup where they think they can walk up to a stranger's house, force their way in the middle of the night, and they think it's okay?
Well, there are probably dozens of burglaries that happen every week. We got 5 million people that live here, and most of the time they either go unreported or certainly unreported on the news. You don't expect to hear something like this, but frankly, you probably should.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay. We have Daniel Lucio joining us now. We're really looking forward to this interview. He, by the way, is a Democrat running for Congress in Arizona's 1st Congressional District. We've been working our way, not that we wouldn't have called you first, but we've been working our way through the list to, get coverage for every single person who is interested in running for this seat. So thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Good morning. That's good to see you.
Go right up to that microphone like it's a radio show.
Okay, you got it.
Got it. Good.
Right.
Okay, great.
Tell us more about yourself, where you're from, and what made you think, hey, this is for me. I want to run for office.
Well, I love America and I love Arizona, and I was very disappointed with the direction I've seen this country go in the last year. And I'm also very disappointed in the Republican Congress who's enabled this direction, who has been silent and complicit in the direction that this administration has taken us. So I'm running. The reason I'm running is because I want to make a difference, and I want to make a better world for myself and my children.
Are there 1 or 2 topics that you're really focused in on, that impact the everyday lives of Arizonans?
Well, I think right now we're seeing state-sponsored violence in our communities. When we have people shooting each other, or when we have law enforcement agents escaping accountability, shooting people in the streets of Minnesota and rounding people up without due process, without our civil rights, I think that is a travesty, and that's something that we need to hold to account this administration for their lies and their actions and their bad policy. I think Martin Luther King said it best when he said the moral universe, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. But I believe that we need people to go and bend that justice. Not just me, but the voters of this district have an opportunity to put someone who will hold this administration to account.
So we haven't seen many of those ICE situations here in like CD1, for example. What are some of the issues that you feel like your constituents, potential constituents in CD1 need to see or need to feel? What are some of the things they're experiencing that you want to change right now?
So I will say we have seen ICE. I know a friend of mine I was playing Ultimate Frisbee with him just yesterday, and the Home Depot by his house was raided by ICE, and there is an ICE presence there, and there's an ICE presence in the community. And because, again, they're not holding these officers to account for their actions, that is a problem. But more than that, there is more stuff that we're facing. It's not just about accountability for me. It's also about making this making life more affordable here in Arizona, as far as grocery prices and energy prices and insurance prices and housing prices. They're all going up, and you can draw a direct line between some of the policies that this administration has implemented and the pain that we're feeling here in Arizona.
What about the numbers during the Biden administration? Because we sure saw inflation there as well.
We did see inflation there, and a lot of that was due to recovering from the Trump's previous administration. Because when the economy crashed under the previous Trump term, we needed to do an influx of cash, and so the bad policies have consequences, and there were no easy answers. I remember those years were like, for me, some of the worst years of my life as an American, being stuck at home, not being able to go out. I was working from home, also being the teacher from home and making sure my kids could get an education from home. That was a very difficult time.
I wanted to also ask about that. So in terms of your background, if you are able to represent this district, education is the field that you come from? Is that right?
No, I am actually a systems engineer and software developer. So I have traveled all across Europe and the U.S., building solutions, working alongside CEOs and all the way down the line, building solutions that work for people. And so my job is solving problems, and that's a job I have today.
So when you talk about solving some of those problems for people on quote unquote Main Street, grocery prices, gas prices, how do we do that? How do we approach that potential solution?
Well, a lot of those, the tariffs that are being implemented are causing an effect, and we are seeing inflationary prices because of the tariffs. And that.
Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. We're going to take a quick break in a quick second. Do you mind holding on with us? Is that okay, David?
He was right at the most important point of his point.
Well, he's going to have about 5 minutes after
we do have a break coming up. Can you stay with us for a couple more minutes? We'll be right back.
Thank you.
And we are back with Daniel Lucio.
Yeah,
look at those winds howl in Michigan right now, Celeste. That's impressive.
It's a good thing those flags are, it's like tough material.
Down. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're wrapping up now with Daniel Lucio, who is running as a Democrat for Congressional District 1. Celeste, you guys were talking about the bread and butter issues that when people sit down at their kitchen table often come to the fore.
Yeah, you said you're a solutions-oriented type of systems engineer.
Yeah, and I'd like to definitely talk about progress, because those are my three priorities are accountability and affordability, and then also progress. And you don't hear that too much on this ticket. I think a lot of people are afraid to say the word progress, but when I talk about progress, I think it's time for the 32-hour work week. Back in 90 years ago, when we did the 40-hour work week, there were still beasts of burden plowing fields. There was steam engines, and now we have the internet and self-driving cars and robotics. And it's time for us workers to be able to enjoy some of the fruits of our labor, because we were the ones that built that technology. We were the ones that built those solutions. So we should gain in those advantages. So those are the types of things that I'm after. And I think also by going to the 32-hour work week, we could value labor more, right? And that could go some way in valuing as far as the employment, and then also, our wages as well.
Are you talking about in every industry?
Well, there are exceptions in the Fair Labor Standards Act today. There are exceptions, like firemen, they have exceptions. Instead of 40 hours, overtime starts at 40 hours. I believe it's 56 hours. So there are exceptions. And I'm not alone in this call. I think there's a bill in the House and the Senate that's calling for the 32-hour work week. I don't know where my fellow candidates stand on it, but I am 100% for it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you coming in. You've covered some topics that we haven't heard yet from some of the other candidates. So it's going to be fascinating to follow this race.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks so
Have
much.
a great day.
Thanks.
Okay, on to another story that we wanted to talk about this morning, and it has to do, ladies and gentlemen, with soup. I know. I'm like, how do I transition from important political topics to soup? But
you know what, Ron? There's something about, and Bells is joining us here. Hey, Bells. I feel like there's something, whether or not you work in politics, or whether or not you work in the news, or you're an athlete, or whatever. There's one thing that can bring us all together,
and that's soup.
And that's soup.
Well,
Absolutely.
the Celeste story of the day today, Bells, that's why we wanted to talk a little bit about it. Fox asked some dietitians about, is chicken soup, on a cold day, whether you're homesick or just it's a cold day and you want some cozy food, or is tomato soup a better way to go?
Yeah, and we know our chat lights up like fire when it comes to food. So we would love to hear your thoughts on this. Tomato soup versus chicken soup. And so what they found was that both are broth-based, assuming. Chicken soup is higher in protein, obviously, because you have the chicken. But you can add some bone broth to the tomato soup, and I feel like that will add some protein in there as well. But chicken soup has B vitamins and zinc, also known for helping fight common cold symptoms, especially if you use some of that, the bone broth's all hot and yummy, so good. But tomato soup is high in vitamins A and C and contains lycopene, and an antioxidant known to reduce inflammation and heart disease. So both soups' downside was that they're high in sodium, and that comes from the broth in there, you know what I mean?
A lot of salt.
So if you can limit the amount of sodium that you have in that, then that's okay. But both were good choices, but according to experts and doctors and nutritionists, the winner was tomato soup, since it was a tad more nutritious when it comes to like having the antioxidants because of the tomatoes, reducing inflammation, AC, and lycopene.
Well, I'll just say, Renee keeps trying to get me to get onto this bone broth train.
It's so good.
And I'm like, honey, it sounds way too crunchy.
Oh, no.
No.
Who wants a bunch of bones?
No.
In your mug. There is this, it's called Zoop, and it's like a little jar. Have you seen it? I found it at Sprouts. You put like a teaspoon in your cup, and you fill it with hot water. Yeah. You mix it up, and it's bone broth really in like a paste. And you have to keep it in the fridge to keep it good. Oh, just drinking that on like a cold day is so good.
Do you? So I thought we'd talk about it for a sec, because we love this time of year so much.
We do.
I woke up at 4 a.m. on Saturday morning morning, and I was like, okay, I'm awake. What am I going to do? And I walked outside, and it reminded me how cold it was at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And so what is your, like on a cozy day, do you have like a go-to food that you, Bells, that you like to go to?
My two comfort foods actually was chicken noodle soup or tomato soup and grilled cheese. So both of those we talked about are mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Celeste? What's your go-to?
I just have really one. I think it's because it's easy for like a working mom is chili. And I throw everything into the crock pot and I leave it there. And so if the kids are running to and fro from sports, or I might go home today and make some tomato soup and grilled cheese, maybe too. But it's just like it's in the crock pot. And if you have the Fritos, we have to have Fritos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of our family thing.
I love Fritos.
I can go with tortilla chips, but my kids and my husband love Fritos. And then if I have like a salsa and like a Greek yogurt, plain, that gives you more protein than a sour cream, and it tastes the same.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's what we do with some Tillamook cheddar cheese.
Okay.
If I just have all the fixins there, you can eat whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Sounds so good.
I mean, I actually made a dish last night with Renee's help.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had seen a recipe. If it's a simple recipe, here's my guideline. 5 items or less. I don't want 14 items, but it was chicken thighs with it. Basically, there was some. Let me just think of some of the things. The lemon, you had to like squeeze a bunch of lemon.
Okay, fresh lemons.
Yeah, and then you had to get rosemary sprigs.
Okay,
and cut them up, and then mix in the olive oil with some salt.
Yeah,
and that's it. And you just let it marinate. The chicken thighs just marinate in it.
Yeah,
for like a half hour or so. Then you put it in the oven, heat it up.
Oh, in the oven.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. I bet
So
with
I
like
love
some
chicken.
rice, but that's really good.
Oh, with some rice. I didn't even think of that.
Because that juice from the lemon, like in the
Okay.
olive
Flavors
oil,
the rice.
Yeah, flavors the rice. Ron, I might use your 5-ingredient chicken.
Okay.
This week.
I'll send you the recipe. Seriously, I got
What's
it
your
right here
rating
on my
out
phone.
of that? What was your rating of the dish?
How many
Well,
stars?
I'm my own toughest critic, but I would probably give it a 10.
Wow.
10 out of 10?
10 out of 10?
10 stars?
I thought, yeah.
Share the recipe.
5 out of 5, Celeste. I don't know, whatever rules you want me to
Amazing.
play by. All right, let's roll the video from you guys. I took this train ride that I could not wait to come home and tell you about. So
We missed you.
Look at this. So you're on this train. This is in Switzerland. And you're literally equal with the glaciers. Can you see the frozen waterfalls?
Oh
in
my
these
gosh.
frozen glaciers.
They're frozen.
And then I went to the back of the train. So it starts in Switzerland. It goes up over the Alps and it drops you off in Italy in a little town called Tirano. And so, sometimes the train has to stop because another train is coming by. We all get how that works. And I took that picture and I thought, wait a minute, I'm going to go over just a little further over there. That's looking down into Italy.
Wow.
And look at
Stunning.
those Alps, right?
So Italy, it's...
Oh, by the way.
What is happening
Okay,
here?
so this is, if you go to my YouTube channel, Hooner History, I tell the story of that lion, that which it's based on, believe it or not, the Swiss Guard. You know how the Swiss Guard, they protect the Pope?
Yes.
Well, they used to protect every king in Europe, and it all had to do with the French Revolution. So anyway, that's Hooner History. I tell the whole story. Renee and I went there, and we just had a great time. Do you like her green nails?
I do.
You guys look incredible.
Can I just say, Renee never ages. Renee, I know she's watching. You are beautiful. Yeah, so
She's so
great.
beautiful.
You're such a lucky guy.
I am a lucky guy. That's for sure. Now, I certainly don't mean to complain. I mean, we have viewers all around the world.
We do.
And we
do.
just were talking to a guy in Denmark.
We were, yes, Copenhagen.
But the one thing, if you ever go over to that particular country, which is about as beautiful as any country you're ever going to lay eyes on, Switzerland.
Like Renee.
Correct. Get this, Celeste. I already told Bella about this, but this is pretty incredible.
Crazy.
So what do you do if you're an American and you want ice? You go to a McDonald's. You can get a Diet Coke with ice. Never mind the fact that it costs like $6.
Overseas, yeah.
This is in Switzerland, but here's what we got. So we went to a McDonald's. We got a chicken sandwich. She got a chicken sandwich, and I got a burger meal.
Okay.
So it included the fries, a soda, and whatever that burger is. I think it's called the Big Tasty. And so, I mean, it's a really good burger.
Okay.
Is it better than the Big Mac?
Now, what we're going to do is Price is Right, Celeste.
Oh.
So for those two items, my burger meal and her chicken sandwich, what do you suppose? I'll start the bidding at like $17.
Oh, wow. I was going to go lower than that.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
you're in for a treat.
$17.
Okay.
Wow.
It is closest
But
without
this is the
going
meal,
over.
which
Yeah.
includes the fries and the drink.
Correct. So you're going to go,
I'm going to go 30.
yeah, it was $36.
Wow.
Basically 40.
25 cents. Yeah.
We
Wow.
round up to 40.
Is that incredible?
Well, you know
I don't
what?
know how people live over there.
I know. What? I mean, how busy was it? Was anybody there?
There was like a mom with her child. And then I'm just going to tell you, there were some military guys and they're eating.
Yeah.
And I don't know what branch of the service they were in.
Yeah.
But I think they were all headed to Davos.
Oh,
Because
wow.
President Trump's going to be there in a couple of days. Most world leaders are going to be in Davos. They said that the CEOs of 800 of the world's biggest companies are going to be in Davos.
Wow.
So maybe it was like, when you work on assignment and you go to lunch, the company pays for it. So maybe they were there paying like a $40 burger because they're not. They're like, the government's paying for my
Hopefully.
lunch
What's
today.
our per diem again?
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
$40.
Well, anyway, Dave is going to be especially excited to know that I shot a story on what you won't see when the president goes to Davos. Here's the
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff.
Oh,
How about that? Big D, here I am.
Big D.
I'm thinking of the pod while I'm 1,000 miles, well, like 7,000 miles away. Are you impressed? Are you happy about that?
I'm always impressed by you.
Okay. Good answer. Ladies, before we say goodbye, who do we think is now going to the Super Bowl? I was really kind of rooting for the Bears.
Me too, the Bears.
Now, what do we think?
I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
Yes, me too.
The Seahawks.
Oh, really?
And
That last game was very good.
what's that
Yeah.
noise?
I don't know.
Is that us?
Oh, I think it's a truck backing up.
Oh.
Oh, we're next to a garage.
We're doing some innovation.
What do you
We
want
are.
to bet it's the garbage truck?
Renovations.
Now we're out of time for football talk.
So I'm going to Seahawks and who?
I think in the Patriots.
And the Patriots.
Yeah, even though the
That'd
game's
be
in
good.
Denver.
That's going to be a remake of the Super Bowl we had here in Glendale years ago.
Know it, right? And Patriot
Yes.
fans, they still get squirmy about that game.
I know. This
Oh,
is
would that be amazing?
okay. Let's do this now.
Okay.
Ready? Go.
Dance time.
Welcome back, Ron. We're all dancing.
We got a whole
Ron's
other
back.
hour to go. Here comes Des and Anita.
So we call this our rave music.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ron, we're going to leave everyone with a beautiful shot
Oh, yeah,
somewhere
how about that?
as we dance away.
Sure.
Have a great day.
I'm so glad it's back. Yeah.
I think there we go.
With you on Monday.
Des is here. Ty's taking a break.
Yeah.
Little break.
Yeah.
Couple of things happening. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
A couple of things happening. A lot of people might actually have the day off. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
It is.
And so a very big day. And we have a lot of things that are happening to honor Martin Luther King Jr.
There's so many events in the Valley. The one in Phoenix is kind of like, they said it's the mothership.
Okay.
They do their 2.5-mile march.
So tell us about that. You were out there?
Yeah, we were out there this morning in the 9 o'clock hour, and we were seeing folks line up. I mean, I was there with Corey Goodwin, one of our great photographers here, and we both said there had to at least have been a couple thousand people that packed the streets. Yeah, and we were there this morning.
I love seeing that. We're going to run, you did a really amazing interview with a woman who was carrying the torch, leading the parade.
Yeah, their message for today, just, they're resonating and echoing what Dr. Martin Luther King wanted: unity, peace, and respect for everybody.
I saw a quote from him today, and one that I don't know that I've ever seen before, and it said, if you want to be happy, make sure other people are happy.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's really amazing, because it's beyond just like civil rights and human rights. It's also about caring
and kindness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna run this, you guys. You really appreciate this march. And this is SOT 1, Dave. Yep. Thank you.
Being a Memphis, Tennessee resident where Dr. King was killed, it's very important to me to continue to remember us. The city of Phoenix and Arizona has been doing this for 40 plus years. It's the 40th celebration. And we just continue this march as a commemorative march. It's not a protest march, but a commemorative march where we continue the legacy of Dr. King. And just excited to have the good work of Valerie Churchwell here with us, as well as one of our new Living the Dream honorees, Mara. So an exciting day to educate our kids of the history of Dr. King, peace, nonviolence, and love.
And as you commemorate and remember Dr. King, what is, I mean, there's so many things we remember of him, but the one for you, the memory or the message that was most important that he shared that remains with you to this day?
I think of course everyone knows the I Have a Dream speech, right? And him knowing that the possibility that he would not be with us as we progress in this society, but everyone remembers that speech. He said, I might not get there with you, but I know we will get to the mountaintop. So it's just a semblance of getting past some of the division that our country has been experiencing and continuing to push that legacy of love, peace, and harmony.
And Valerie, you will be carrying the torch today. You're the breakfast chair. What does this honor mean to you?
Well, it is truly an honor, and we've been carrying the torch for 20 years. We started it at the time with the organization that I was with, and we've transitioned it to the city. And the biggest thing for us is we've been able to have our youth continue to make that run. Every breakfast, they're there. They've been doing it for 20 years, and now truly we have our youth as part of our honorees.
The most important message that Dr. King shared that remains with you, Valerie, is what?
It's unity. It's unity and love.
And introduce us to Mara. Walk us through the honor that she received. What did she have to do in order to receive that and be recognized here and walking alongside you in the parade today?
So Mara is one of our Living the Dream awardees. She received a nomination for all of her tremendous work that she's doing in the community. What we'd like to do is highlight is that she is 11 years old and she is truly changing the world. She was here with us on Friday and she is here with us today celebrating.
So Mara, the Living the Dream honoree, what did you, what went into receiving that award?
It took hard work, and I've been helping my community by helping Phoenix homeless, and it truly took care and time to get nominated for this award.
So, and you've been really busy in the community. Explain a little bit more what you are doing for the homeless population here in Phoenix. You collected, I hear, quite a bit of items to help folks that are struggling.
I raised over 300 pairs of shoes during 2024 for for a local nonprofit called Trevor's Vision. Then during 2025, I raised over $15,000 of underwear for Trevor's Vision, which was enough for 2 years of underwear for them, for their weekly shower trailers.
Wow. And before we let you go, what is it when you're talking with your friends or classmates, when you're in school learning about Martin Luther King Jr. and the history there, what stands out to you the most?
That it always takes a dream. You have to have a dream for a future, and that dream will grow stronger and stronger and make a better future.
Amazing. And here with us today as well, you are?
Gibbs, member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I'm out here with my other D9 brothers and sisters from the fraternities and sororities. We're out here to show that the dream is still alive. It's a day of remembrance and reflection.
Hoping to get a little bit of video of the walk.
I mean, probably thousands. I mean, I'm really bad at
assessing the crowd.
But it had to have been. I mean, the street was packed. There was almost no space watching all those folks line up there in front of the church. And again, it's a 2.5-mile walk, and they'll end it at Margaret T. Hans Park, where there's a festival of the day celebrating, his memory and all that he stood for. And I love Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I grew up with my dad reenacting his speech every year, every Sunday before Martin Luther King Day at church. Yeah. And my dad would sit there and memorize his speech. So he had it memorized from start to finish. And my dad really would embody him. And I get goosebumps right now because I just hear my dad's voice like echoing in the church. And he really got into it, and he memorized that every year. So that's what I remember from the day. Special celebration for us.
How did he get started on that? I mean, I would imagine there would be so many people, who would want to participate and to be that. And how was he chosen?
Well, once you meet my dad, you'll probably understand.
And I have met your dad. He seems like a man of few words, but probably not, right?
I mean, no one is Martin Luther King Jr. Like, let me start by saying that. But my dad, I guess, like Martin Luther King, very strong, very bold, very grounded in what he stands for. So I think maybe just, that little bit of similarities kind of led him into that role. But I love that my church would do that every year. It was just amazing.
I think that we all know that first line, I have a dream. But if you really take the time to read the entire speech.
I know. Well, I was looking, and I wonder if my dad still remembers it to this day. I don't know that he probably doesn't, word for word, but
you never know.
I wish I had video of it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish I had.
How much of it then because of listening to him? When you didn't memorize it, but when you hear it played back, you could probably recite along with it.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, just I wish. Again, I wish I had video to share with you. I should bring it up to him. I haven't even talked to him today yet, but yeah, it was great to watch him do that. And there's also happening in the Valley a celebration for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Mesa as well. So they have a walk there of their own. So
we're actually waiting for a
variety
live shot
for folks to be able to celebrate.
Yeah, we're actually. Any luck on that one, Dave?
It looks like she's in the shop.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so let me see if we can find her. That's on ENG 22, and I think.
I couldn't hear you.
Hello, can you guys hear us? Keisha, hello?
I can hear.
It looks like they're getting.
Sorry, putting on the.
Okay. Oh, there she is. She's prepping. Wait, don't show her getting ready. That's the behind
I'm
the
trying to
scenes.
move everything. Okay.
Well, I was trying to find.
What's that, Dave? Okay. Hello, beautiful. How are you? Good morning.
Hello, I'm good. Good morning. How are you?
Good. It's Anita and Desiree, and we are back here at the Fox 10 studios.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Anita. Hi, Desiree.
Hi, I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that is great. So walk us through what's happening there today. Where are you guys positioned, and when does everything start for the celebration there for the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on this day?
Yes, So we are out here at Mesa East Valley for our annual MLK celebration for the parade and festival. The parade is kicking off right now. So they are starting off and coming down Center Street here. They'll go from Center to First Street there and head east on First Street. And right after the parade is our festival, which runs from 12 to 4 at Mesa City Plaza. So we've got a lot going on out here.
What an amazing turnout. Des was out at the Phoenix Walk earlier this morning and talking about the huge crowd there and the sense of community. And that is pretty much what we are seeing there right now, is so many people gathering, so many people honoring and remembering. Talk a little bit about, have you been able to talk to the people there? What are they saying?
Oh my goodness, I've talked to people here. There are people that are lining the parade. They're excited to be here. Some come and make it a family annual tradition every year. We get a lot of preschools that bring the kids out, and so they have their lunch lined up around the parade route. I mean, it's just, everyone is just so excited. They love when this day comes around because it's filled with so much love and energy, and that's what we like.
Good morning, East Valley. And what is it that you remember most from Dr. Martin Luther King, whether that's a quote that is just embedded in your heart, whether it's something that he did, the March on Washington, obviously a memorable moment and experience that he was part of. But what is it for you that really stands out when we think about him today?
You know, what really stands out for me is everything that I learned about him growing up. I'm not telling on myself. I was born the year that he was assassinated, unfortunately. But just the sense of how important it was growing up for us to know all about Dr. King, about his tenements of love and peace and unity, and really wanting to make sure that we all lived in this just society. And it's a combination of everything, from reading his letters from Birmingham jail to listening to his marches or his speeches. One of my favorites is Mapping Out the Blueprint of Your Life, where he talks about you really can be anything you want to be, and whatever that is, be the best at it. And I love that about him. And it's just growing up and just knowing about it. And it wasn't relegated just to one day or one month. It was every single day that we lived this. And that's what I remember most.
Keisha, these are lessons we will take forever. Stay close with us. We have to take a 2-minute break. I've got a heart out. We're going to come back to 2 minutes, if that's okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Public service is what they do in red. Beautiful organization of ladies.
Keisha, who is in Mesa. Keisha, hi, good morning. We're back. Can you hear us? Hi.
Yep, I can hear you. Hello.
I wanted to ask you how many people are participating in the parade and what organizations are taking part?
Okay.
Oh my goodness. We have over 75 participants in the parade this year. We have everyone from community leaders and dignitaries. Senator Ruben Gallego is with us this morning. We have Just Serve. We have marching bands from Dobson High School and Westwood High School. We have community organizations out here, dancers, and those that are running for office. We have some of everybody out here, restaurants, and it's a community, churches, church organizations, everybody.
Love it. So if folks missed the parade, you guys are celebrating into the afternoon, early evening. Just give folks the details on that if, they want to join you later on in the day.
You got to show up.
Yes, we will be here till 4 p.m. So at Mesa City Plaza, we have our festival going on. We've got over 80 vendors, food vendors, retail, community organizations that are out there. We have a short program at 12:30 where you can hear from some of the Mesa City leaders. And others, our East Valley MLK Awards will kick off at 1 p.m. We've got DJ dancing, line dancing, some of everything out there.
I love seeing the littles marching in the parade and learning a little bit about community and the importance of today.
Yeah, because we know you could have slept in.
Absolutely, and about celebrating the work that was done. Even though we still have work to do, let's celebrate how far we've come.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me.
Of
just
course.
Come down here and sharing the love down here.
Love it.
We have plenty of time. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It looks like they've got such a great turnout. What a beautiful day for it. And you asked me earlier what part of the speech. I didn't want to say it without having it correct, word for word. But my favorite part is when he's talking about his children, right? He says, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
So important.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
who doesn't want that?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. What a day.
It is, yeah.
But 40 years for that walk here in Phoenix. So
it's
that's
incredible.
Impressive. Yeah.
And I really, truly do love seeing everyone from the community coming out and seeing the little kids participating. It's such a great way. It's one thing to learn in the history books or thankfully, we have video, right? To be able to watch video. But it's also, I think, such an important part of the education to be out there marching, to be talking to people.
Yeah, especially since kids have the day off from school. Yeah. Take them to an event. And
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, learning through being involved. Yeah.
You mentioned school.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about higher education. And we are going to talk to Monique Kelley. And Dave, is this Zoom number 1? Thank you. Hi, Monique. Thanks so much for hanging out and joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. What's interesting is I have a connection to Dr. Martin Luther King as well. I am an associate professor at Boston University's College of Communication, and Dr. King earned his doctorate at Boston University right here.
How neat.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is amazing. And it just goes to show how many years later that connection is felt. And again, how important that connection is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And speaking of college.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
We are hoping to get our college graduates ready to enter the workforce. But Monique, you're diving into how a study was done or some research looked into this, and they found that half of college graduates don't feel ready for the workforce. So what's the reason behind that?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot, and I am not surprised. And so I am the first and only professor who teaches the College of Communications Career Readiness course. And so I've done a lot of research, talking to students about this, and actually just published a book called Redefining Networking, How to Lead with Our Unique Value. And so in doing the research for the book, we found that in general, people, let alone college graduates, are not really ready for the workforce when it comes to building connections. And the U.S. Department of Labor is estimating 80% of jobs are found through connections. And so if we are only submitting our resumes and cover letters through websites, we're really going to lose out on 80% of the opportunities out there.
Okay, I think this is really interesting that you're saying that they're not networking and communicating, but everyone's always on their phones. Everyone's always on social media, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or LinkedIn. So if they're not learning social skills, what are they doing?
Right. So we're finding the number one reason why people are not comfortable with networking is because networking needs a PR overhaul. It is perceived as a transaction with strangers. And so if you ask college students, why is it that you don't want to, talk to maybe one of the guest speakers or a fellow professor, they will say, well, I don't really have an ask right now. And they don't necessarily recognize that when that guest speaker is in their classroom or their professor, they're not just there to take a class and do the homework. They are there to build the relationships really needed to help them with their careers, even during college before they graduate.
Well, and you just actually said it too, because I was going to ask you, what do you think about rebranding networking and make that relationship building or building relationships? Because that's what it's all about, right? So what are some tips that you give your college students, soon to be graduates, as it relates to networking? What are some tips that they can use to try to build those partnerships?
You hit the nail on the head. We really need a rebranding. And so the reason why the book is called Redefining Networking is because it's just that. It's building relationships. And I define it as earning your keep with people. And so I have a 3-step process that I leverage for students and also tenured professionals. First, we need to identify the value or skills that we can bring to the table in jobs. So college students shouldn't be asking or saying, I need a job. They really need to say, where can I provide my unique value to help a organization and people shine? So that's step one. Step two is identifying that audience for the value. We cannot provide value everywhere all the time. So really trying to align the unique skills that you have to the right audiences is really important. And step three is communicating that value through LinkedIn, to your point around social media. It's providing stories about what you have done and really helping employers connect the dots between where they see you and where you can fit within their organization, not just I'm here because I need a job.
Monique, everything that you're saying, I'm going to say works because it's probably things that we did when we were leaving college. So where, I guess, did the newer generations lose these skills, maybe lose this confidence to approach that guest speaker and say, hi, I'm Anita, or hi, I'm Desiree, and one day I'd like to work for you or do what you do? I mean, why aren't these college students doing that anymore? Are they scared? Have they lost confidence? What's that disconnect? Where did it start?
That's a really good question. And we really are seeing not a lot of hunger and confidence, especially post-COVID, where if you ask a college graduate or a senior, do you know that you're supposed to be doing this? Most of them will say no. And I talk and work with college students outside of Boston as well. And a lot of them are just not sure what to do because they haven't been taught. So I think it's really important for all of us, parents, guardians, folks at church, all of the different organizations in and outside of college, to really help our college students understand that connections and building relationships really is important. It's not just about going to college and getting a grade. It's about putting their best foot forward in getting that job.
And the statistics show that, right? So for folks that network, how many potential job opportunities are they landing because they have done a great job at networking?
Oh, 80% of the time. I have a 22-year career. Only one job have I gotten placed at because I submitted a resume through a website. So really, 80%. This is about connections. 80% of the time, you're getting a job through connections. So yes, the websites still work 20% of the time, but we really want to make sure we are doing everything we can to build the relationships. And so people are looking out at you for an opportunity. I would not be a professor, business owner, not even an author without having those connections and earning my keep with people throughout. So more on this is found through redefiningnetworkingbook.com. Again, it's really for our college students all the way up to those who are more tenured in their career, wanting to leave a legacy and really the impact they want to leave on this world.
Excellent points, because as you're talking, I'm thinking the same thing. Des and I might have a guest in studio, and we might approach that guest afterwards and say, thank you so much. Hey, can I get your cell phone number? And then in a couple of months or a couple of weeks, something comes up where you're like, hey, I have Monique's cell phone. I'm going to call her to see if she can do an interview. Maybe she knows someone who knows more about this topic. So it's not just landing that job, but as you mentioned, it helps you become more successful at that job.
Absolutely. And also students should realize those guest speakers that their professors are bringing in, these are professionals. I have brought them the general manager of image and culture from Microsoft, the head of comms for Spotify, franchise owners of Chick-fil-A and Ben and Jerry's, for them to be pitching ideas to. So these are media relations students. So before they even graduate, they can have portfolios that say, look, I've actually been able to pitch great ideas that these professionals are using in real world scenarios. And so I know of other colleges providing that real world experience to students. Students, please take advantage of those, because that is a great way to build relationships and confidence before you graduate.
Monique, you've been great. We have about a minute left. Really quickly, your biggest networking don't.
Oh, that's an excellent question.
That's a good one.
Very good.
I would say, please do not approach a new relationship by saying, hi, how are you? I need a job, right? Again, when we can lead with the value, because I help people every day, and I always want to be able to help, but I can't help someone without kind of getting to know them a little bit and seeing, where can my unique value fit within contributing to them? So as much as possible, I know it's a hard job market out there. I guarantee we all know someone who knows us within our circles that we can go to, and it's going to be a lot easier to work with them versus, hi, how are you? I need a job, at least in the first breath.
So be a little bit more subtle.
Save your breath on that.
Yeah. Also, I think your next book should be one on dating, because all of this is going to relate right back there to it. You're working on it.
You should say that, because I always tell my students, this is like dating.
Yeah,
you don't want to say, hey, I need a baby or a free dinner.
Yeah, hey, you want to get married? Go get hitched.
I need a baby. One more time, your website, how people can find you and get that book.
30 seconds left.
Yes, it's redefiningnetworkingbook.com. Please go. Please say hi. And again, let's keep, Dr. King's legacy of supporting and helping and loving each other first and foremost when it comes to building connections.
Thank you so much.
Monique,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care.
I need a baby.
Hey,
come on.
I need a baby. I don't need any more. I got enough.
4.
Love them, but I got enough.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
You're staying.
I am.
All right, it's 11:30. Fox 10 Talks continues. I feel like since it's a holiday, people are kind of chill, and we got a lot of folks watching today, Des. A lot of folks maybe new in the chat. Mm-hmm. There's Trevor Burden just saying, hey, guys. And then right away, hola, Trevor. Hey. And it's great. So we appreciate you guys all the way. This is Blairsville, Pennsylvania. Just another snowy spot on the map here in the this great big country of ours, Des. We're kind of normal, maybe a few degrees above normal in the west, but boy, they are cold, and it's just getting colder.
I know, right? We don't have much to gripe about. Yeah. We're pretty much in the best spot in the country.
Well, I was telling a couple of people earlier, it's not that often that I'm on a plane that gets de-iced, but we were in Detroit at the Detroit airport, and it's like they're pouring orange gooey antifreeze all over the plane. It's the weirdest thing, because you're sitting inside and you're like, we're covered with goo.
Yeah, the planes just bathe in it. You didn't know that's how they bathe them?
Yeah, no, I know. But I mean, it's just weird looking out the window and you can't see anything and all that. But anyway, the pilot's like, okay, we're clear. The weather in Phoenix is sunny and 70. Let's go. Let's get out of here. So you definitely
de-ice when you land in Phoenix. That's for sure.
Right. I don't think we have any de-icing equipment. That's for sure. No. So anyway, we love hanging out with you guys. We're glad you're spending some time with us here at the friendliest chat online.
Yes, I'm so confused. Which camera are we on? Because earlier we were over here.
Probably two. I'm betting.
Okay.
Right here.
Hi,
two
guys.
on the two shot. Hello.
How are you, Ron? We missed
you. Really great. Thank you.
You said you could take no more vacations.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, fine. But wait a sec. Des, I'm seriously considering New York as the state I'm going to go take a 1 week vacay, because I do this every year.
We can talk about it.
You would be the one to go to.
I've got your food tour lined up, ready to go.
Oh, my gosh. I could spend probably 3 days just in Buffalo,
oh, gosh, you could eat your way through, yeah.
Maybe I have to do like 2 weeks in New York.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
Missouri
Or just bring your sweats.
List.
Just bring your sweats and be prepared to be.
That would actually be so cool to like go to your mom and dad's house and hang out.
Oh, my God. They would love to have you. Yeah.
That would be so great. Anyway, it's Martin Luther King Day, and it's a day of celebrations both locally and around the country. And here's just a little bit of more of what was being said this morning. Now, remember, 9 a.m. out in Phoenix was the beginning of the celebrations, and Mesa is still going on.
Yeah.
Just started at 11 a.m., but here's from earlier in Phoenix.
Being a Memphis, Tennessee resident where Dr. King was killed, it's very important to me to continue to remember us. The city of Phoenix in Arizona has been doing this for 40 plus years. It's the 40th celebration, and we just continue this march as a commemorative march. It's not a protest march, but a commemorative march where we continue the legacy of Dr. King.
So I think this is a particularly poignant King Day in the state of Arizona, and I want Arizonans to know that the Attorney General's office and the state of Arizona will protect all of our residents. So I just think this is a fabulous morning. It's a morning where we're all reflecting on civil rights.
I mean, I think what was happening in the past is not happening again, and I hope that we could learn from the lessons of Martin Luther King about, civil disobedience, protest, and I hope that the government will understand that, these people that are protesting are Americans. They care about what's happening. They shouldn't be treated and oppressed like we saw in the 1960s also.
Why did you decide to bring your family out to the walk today? I just want them to know the importance of what Martin Luther King had to do for us, and just to still just show them the traditions and keep it going, because multiculturalism is important in our country right now, and it's very bruised, I will say, but I just think it's important for the kids to be involved too.
The most important message that Dr. King shared that remains with you, Valerie, is what?
It's unity. It's unity and love.
Hi, Desiree. Oh, Desiree, sorry. Hi.
So you were out there, and what a feel. Oh, the governor was out there.
Yes. It was so hard to get all of them. Everything was moving so quickly, but obviously we were able to touch base with Attorney General Mays there. But yes, Governor Katie Hobbs was there. You have Mayor Kate Gallego as well. And I believe Secretary of State Adrian Fontes, was also there. And then obviously we were able to touch base with Senator Gallego.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's the torch, there's the governor, and pretty good sized crowd on hand, and really an upbeat feeling of celebration.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at least more than 1,000 people, easy, if not a couple thousand were there taking part in that walk. It's a long walk too. Yeah. It's from the church to Margaret T. Hans Park. It's 2.5 miles.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a really good, decent walk. And then they're there celebrating at the park until I believe 4 today. And then same situation for the folks out in Mesa too.
Yeah, it's really great. There's a fellow out there in Mesa many, many years ago, a friend of mine. In fact, I used to work out with him at the gym, a guy named John Goody, who worked for City of Mesa and helped to organize some of the earliest celebrations out there. This goes back a generation, and it's just become kind of bigger as the years have gone by.
I love the
Mesa.
QT crew here.
Yes. How about that?
There were so many of them. That was really cool to see them.
Yeah. Now, did they, was this their first time doing it? And I love that it's an organized effort from QT.
You know, I'm not sure, but you saw the banner there saying, you know, they support all the accomplishments of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, so they showed up in full force.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
that
look at
is
all
great.
of them.
Yeah. All right, so definitely a day to celebrate, that is for sure. And if you've got time off here on the holiday and you are hanging out with us, well, we love it. That's for sure.
I know. I'm kind of sad that I was working because my son, they don't have school today.
Oh,
you know, kids in the Valley don't.
Right,
and I think that's such a great way to apply what you're learning in the classroom about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and then being able to go participate in a walk and say, hey, you know, this is what he did.
Right.
And this is why he did it. So that's so, it was just amazing to see all the families out there.
It's like so important to teach our kids and our grandkids our history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, guess who is actually working on the holiday?
Oh,
look at this. One of our best friends.
More folks out there?
Huh? Yeah,
like
man.
us?
Look at Eric.
Wow,
He's working
Eric.
too.
Good morning.
You had to get in your car and drive into work. No, hold on. Eric probably has a limo service.
Oh, yeah, you have the car service.
Let's not get crazy. I did benefit from no traffic today, though. So, I mean, we get here at 6 a.m., so there's usually no traffic anyway. But hopefully on the way home, it'll be pretty smooth, too.
Yeah.
Good.
That's great.
All right, I like your Carhartt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just, cheap shirt today, nothing special.
That's great. Hey, all right, let's talk about the stories that people. Can you hear it? I'm hearing one heck of an echo.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I hear our echo, Eric. Is that us or
on me?
Let me check. Hold on.
I don't hear an echo on you.
Oh, as long as Eric doesn't hear an echo, we can do anything.
Yeah.
All right, so TMZ, if you spend some time there on the website today, or maybe in the next few days just watching the show here on Fox 10 and on My 45,
they're filming live
Fox
right now
10 Extra. Yes, as a matter of fact. The big story
there he is.
Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, a topic that has had Des fired up since the moment she walked in today.
Yeah, Sean McDermott out at the Bills after he's been there since 2017. He's had a pretty okay record with them, and this was the year really that they thought the Bills were going to go all the way with Josh Allen. But yeah, after last night's really dramatic loss in overtime to Denver, it seems that the Bills are looking for a new coach now.
Oh, to which I just wondered about this because, I mean, they're a good team, and I feel like they make the playoffs every year, but Des, jump in here while we're chatting with Eric, is the fact that this just happened to be a year where Patrick Mahomes was not going to be in their way. I mean, you think about how many times over the years they've lost specifically to the Chiefs in the playoffs, and so that obstacle is removed. I think hopes were maybe raised a little higher in Buffalo than they had been in previous years, that this was the year it was finally going to happen.
For sure. I mean, and just how they were performing in general, people thought that. No Joe Burrow, no Jalen Hurts. The playoffs were looking pretty clear for them till the end, and now it's all up in the air.
Well, and I was just talking about this with our photographer, Eric, that I was just spending the morning with. You know, you've got to understand, too, like the city of Buffalo in the history with our Bills, right? From our wide right days that nobody wants to talk about to, the four-peat of going to the Super Bowl that many years consecutively. Right. Yeah. You've got some of the greatest players that have come out of this organization. But for the city of Buffalo, that's all we have. I mean, you've got the Sabres, but they haven't aren't really great. Other than that, we don't have a baseball team to fall back on. There is no basketball team. So they are the city of Buffalo, and Bills Mafia is just depressed. I think when you see some of the reports coming out of his firing, some of the players are upset. They've called it, some of them, stupid, sickening, because they did love this guy. Yeah. But then some of Bills Mafia is saying, he should have fought a little bit harder on that play when they called an interception. Mm-hmm. He should have questioned that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it's all hinging around that dramatic play that some people are saying was a bad call. But, Sean's record with them is 8-8 in the postseason, and they've never made the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So now they have Josh, and they have all these other players that are Super Bowl caliber team. Maybe they're just looking for that coach to be that final piece.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was. I think he had to be the one that took the fall, because you're not going to get rid of Josh Allen.
Nope.
You get rid of Josh Allen, the entire city of Buffalo is rioting.
Yeah. By the way,
because that's our guy.
That we were showing,
that's a Luka
Doncic situation right
for
there,
sure.
right on his happy wedding.
Yes, and his wife, and they're expecting their first child here soon.
Yeah.
So he's still got a lot of good things to look forward to. Yeah, we hope for a better.
By the way,
season.
Since we're talking celebrities, we should talk about Desmond Scott. For people who don't know, what's the whole controversy around him?
So Desmond and his wife Christy, they filed for divorce. She alleged infidelity in their marriage. He kind of owned up to that, said he did some things that he's not proud of and that he regrets. And then we obtained video of Desmond out of the club last weekend. This was about a week after they filed. So this is not video of him cheating. This is after they already started the process for divorce. But the woman who he was making out with in this video in this club in Texas, she spoke out, and she just wanted to make it clear that that was a one-night thing. They met at the bar, and she is not the person that led to this divorce. She was not the person that he cheated on that is mentioned in this divorce filing.
Yeah, but what do you think of that video? Just like, how can you issue an apology? And regardless, right, we don't know the inner workings of their relationship. Yeah. But one minute you issue an apology, and the next you're out in the club, like, making out? Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, because I feel like it's a messy situation.
It is.
In whatever, angle you take there. But for her, I mean, she's just making it clear that, yes, she's not denying that they were making out in the club that night. But she's just saying, I met him that night. This has nothing to do with the previous allegations that are made against him in this divorce process. And she just wants to make sure that people don't see her as a homewrecker, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, well, I guess she felt like she had to come out and make that statement.
But she didn't deny it, so she didn't deny them actually, hooking up at the club.
All right, we'll be watching TMZ to get more of the 411 on those and other stories. Eric, appreciate you. Okay, see you next Monday.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye. Just like that, we got to go to the mystery cam, Des, and check it out. Somebody's got a pear tree inn and a Drury Suites.
Wow, look at
I
you.
like those Drury Suites. Those are some nice hotels. We'll be right back. Okay, mystery cam, guess cam time. It's actually quite amazing when you think about how much the country is in the deep freeze. I mean, we had the video, Des, a little earlier this morning of the snow in the Florida Panhandle, and I mean, it was coming down in big old flakes. It looked like somewhere out of, I don't know, Ohio, not all the way down into Florida. And it's going to be that way for a day or two. But here we are with yet another camera where there's no snow at all. So, what do you think here? I'm looking for...
No, we got some guesses coming in on the chat. Thomas Brown, Oklahoma.
Okay, I have to say when I looked up and I saw a couple of Oklahomas, I was thinking Oklahoma. Brandon is saying Texas. She likes Missouri as an option, but I think you can't go, you have to stay sort of in the western half of the country, because the eastern half of the country, that's what's really getting socked. Also imprevent. And love it when there's a stoplight on a 55-mile-an-hour road.
Wait, where do they even see the speed limit sign? They got good eyes?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess down in the bottom, like, see it? Kind of like middle, more left. One little street sign with the speed limit.
Oh, yes, right.
Wow.
Okay, right at the very bottom of the screen.
Good eyes, bud.
Way to go, man.
Missouri, Texas. B. Miguel is guessing the great state of Texas. Okay. I'll go Texas.
All right.
Because I'm not really sure.
I'll go Oklahoma.
Okay.
Here we go, everybody. It's Des on the mystery cam.
It is, Arnold, Missouri.
Oh, well, look at that. We were both close. Now, somebody had Missouri. It was Linda.
Linda.
Way to go.
Good job.
Okay. Never even heard of that town. Arnold, Missouri.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember, did you ever watch Hey Arnold? Or is that just from my...
What is Hey Arnold?
No. Like just some silly cartoon I'd watch as kids, and the guy had like a football-shaped head. Like he had a really wide.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Ron's leaving me hanging on this one.
No, I'm trying to.
Steph,
I'll tell you what.
You ever watch Hey Arnold? Steph is watching Hey Arnold.
Good. For me, it was a cartoon named Scooby Doo.
Oh, I watched Scooby-Doo.
Did you too?
He's still around.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. I hope that
Hey
never
Arnold
changes.
is not. I don't think.
Okay, so here comes a chance. We're going to talk to Charles Kupchan, who's with the Council on Foreign Relations. He is I think, going to be a great resource for us to find out just a little bit more about all of the international tension, which seems to be growing almost by the hour between the U.S. and Europe. So let's bring him on right now. Hello, Charles.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we did want to bring, what's your take on how this is all unfolded, particularly just in the last 24 hours regarding vis-a-vis the U.S. and Europe?
Well, I think we'd be better off talking about Hey Arnold and Scooby-Doo.
Because good tie-in, buddy.
Yeah. What's happening with Greenland and Europe is pretty weird. It's kind of out there. Just in the last, I would say 48 hours, President Trump has said he's going to hit Europe with new tariffs if they don't agree to give the United States Greenland. And today there was a report that the president said to the leader of Norway, because I didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, I'm not going to be talking about peace anymore. This is kind of very odd stuff in the broader context of American diplomacy. It's hard to say what Trump is up to, what Trump has in mind. I think he's serious about trying to annex Greenland and add it to the territory of the United States, but it does belong to a democratic ally, Denmark. Much of what President Trump wants for Greenland, whether it's security, whether it's access to minerals and rare earths, whether it is building out a missile defense system, all that stuff he can get because Greenland is an ally. So, right now, I think we're all just trying to figure out what the heck is going on here.
Yeah, I mean, and some folks thought, wait, did the president really start his letter off that way, as you mentioned, saying, considering you decided not to give me the Nobel Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, he went on to say, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. But in that letter, too, Charles, he then goes on to say that Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China. So is there an alternative here? Is there a path to partnership between the U.S. and Denmark as to how we operate, with Greenland moving forward?
Yeah, listen, President Trump is not wrong to worry about security in the high north. The onset of global warming is leading to new open shipping lanes up there. The Chinese and the Russians are both getting more active. The Russians, they're building more military bases in the high north. The Chinese have said, we want to be an Arctic power. So, this is not unjustified. But we have an agreement with Greenland dating to 1951, the early Cold War, that basically allows us to build out the military infrastructure, to put more radar there, to put more naval vessels there. We can work with our allies to do so. In fact, they have been dispatching forces to Greenland over the last week or so to try to say to Donald Trump, we're prepared to do more. We're prepared to spend more. Trump said in an interview with the New York Times recently that ownership is important to him psychologically. So maybe this is a real estate developer who's speaking, and he really wants to own Greenland as opposed to have access to Greenland. But let's hope that this dies down, because if we actually do see Trump implement new tariffs on Europe, I think Europe will respond in kind, and we may be going down a slippery slope toward perhaps some kind of irreparable bust-up with our best allies in the world.
Well, we just got about a minute left here. So how do you see it all playing out? I'm sure you've kind of tried to think through this. Is this moment in time? Where are we going to be? 6 months, a year, maybe even longer? Ultimately, does it result not in a real estate deal where we pay whatever, $500 billion to buy the country, and more, we just get more and more favorable treaties, et cetera, that would allow more access to U.S. companies, et cetera?
The people of Greenland, at least for now, don't want to be part of the United States. Denmark doesn't want to let the United States purchase Greenland. And so to take it over, it would need to be an act of aggression, of territorial conquest. I don't see that happening. And so what I think we'll probably see here is some kind of gradual de-escalation, some way of lowering the temperature. But right now, we're in a weird and in some ways an unprecedented place. But, the transatlantic relationship has survived the last 80 plus years. I think it's going to survive this. I hope cooler heads prevail. And it is important that we're beginning to see a lot of members of Congress, including Republican allies of the president, start to speak up. And I think that's important to getting this to a good place.
Charles, we really appreciate your time and your perspective today. Thanks for joining us on Fox 10 Talks.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Yes, bye. Thank you, Charles.
Well, this is a chance for us to jump right into our poll question, Des. So I'm going to pop it up. We have both a QR code version and YouTube. We'll start with a QR code. What's your take on all of this? Almost 30% say, I agree with President Trump. We need it for our national security. 16% say maybe, but only if it's done through negotiations. No military action. And still over 50%. So the majority are saying, look, leave it alone. It belongs to Denmark and always should. Oh, hold on. You guys remind me. It's not on that button. All right. I'm going to go over to ENG24. Des, take it away.
18% say they agree with President Trump here. We need it for national security. 13% are saying maybe, and 69% has the majority here in this poll. Leave it alone. It belongs to Denmark and always should. And this is with about 6,700 votes right now on our YouTube.
And that's 2 hours in.
Mhm.
So we're approaching record territory. It's very interesting. People obviously have strong opinions about it. And so that's a chance for us to bring in Big D.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, guys. Yeah, tons of comments. We read a few earlier. MCK7042 says, as an American, I say we take it by any means necessary. And Kenneth Hamilton 6727 disagrees, saying if Greenland wants to become part of the United States, it's great, but now Greenland hates the United States. Trump has made us look like a bunch of fools. So always really interesting to see people on both sides of the issue. Keep the comments coming, guys.
Hey, Dave, have you got an opinion on who's going to the Super Bowl now? I kind of see it Seahawks, Patriots. I was actually rooting the other way. I wanted it to be Bills, Bears. But what do you think? You got to take?
I would say the Patriots and the Seahawks.
Yeah. Des, you, I think you're just out of the whole conversation now,
I don't
right?
even,
you need a day or
I'm
two.
supposed to say the Patriots when they're our
No.
arch rivals. Like, the only reason I will say the Patriots is only because my husband played for Coach Vrabel.
Yeah.
And he is an amazing guy.
Seems
so if nothing else, I'm rooting for Vrabel's success here.
Okay.
At this point.
Well,
But I mean, for the Broncos to go, the
Yes.
QB has a broken ankle. They're just going to get railroaded anyway.
I just heard this a most amazing stat from Adam Schefter, who
what'd he say?
says this is the first time that a quarterback will start a game this late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
His first start is the conference championship since Roger Staubach did it for the Dallas Cowboys in 1972.
72.
So
God,
we're talking
talk
more than
about
50
pressure.
years. That is a lot of pressure.
This kid. Wow.
Okay, so we'll see what
We'll
happens.
see if he rises to the occasion. He could surprise us all.
And who do you guys got tonight? Is everybody on board the Indiana train?
Indiana, baby.
Okay, look at that. Big D is all over it. Des, what about you?
I'll go Indiana because I know my girl Dom Newland,
Yes.
who's no longer with us, is
know.
rooting Indiana. So
All
I'm
right.
gonna do that for her.
Has she announced what her new station is yet?
No, not public.
All right, fine. Oh, somebody knows. Yeah, see. Okay, before we go, in
Look at
fact,
me.
we got to go. So let me just roll this. This was what happened when the little Uber Eats bot got stuck on the train tracks.
Silly little robot.
Yeah.
Tracks are for trains.
Man, there it went. Holy cow. Yeah, I noticed you guys had that on in the 5 a.m. hour here, Des. So, yeah, kind of rough.
Very.
And somebody...
Those people stayed hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they did. I don't know what happened.